This video will go over how to use the zip code layer in MapBusinessOnline. We can use that for creating territories, also demographics and labeling. So I'm going to show off some of those features. So the first thing to note is a map and data box. It typically hangs out on the left-hand side. If you happen to close it, just look to the left edge and there's an arrow to make it pop back out. And this is where we go to turn on our zip code layer. So once that's on, we could also turn on our states if we need that as a reference. And now we have an opaque image of zip codes across the United States. If I want to be able to see through those zip codes, I can click on the little settings gear next to zip 5 codes, and that opens up a larger box called Manage Map and Data. And this is where we go to change the look and feel of our map. So if we go to the General tab, there's a transparency bar that we can swing over to the right-hand side if we want to be able to see through. Once we're zoomed in, we'll be able to see that street level detail. We also come in here for labels. And so you can do things like change the size of the label. You can change the color of those zip code labels. And also this bar will allow you to have more control over what layers these zip code numbers pop up at. You'll see with digital mapping that different data appears at different zoom levels. So if we're zoomed way out at a national level, the zip codes don't appear. But if we change it to a higher level like this, then we'll start to see some more of those zip codes. I'm going to close out of this for now. And next we'll talk about color coding zips. So if you want to color code based on a geography type, we have our color code by geography at the top. We call it boundaries. And if you click on that, then you can choose which geographic layer that you want to color code your data by. We're talking about zips, so we'll go with zip 5 code. And you can color code these zips based on either demographic data that's embedded in the program, or if you've imported data like a data set, then you'll see it listed here, and you can choose to color code the zips based on your imported information. So if you wanted various colors based on sales information you brought in, then you can color code them that way. I'm going to leave it on demographics, and I'm going to swing it down from population down to median household income, which is at the end of the population line. There we are. And I'm going to change those colors, vary those a little bit. It'll make a nice hot pink and a dark blue for my ranges. And then you can change whatever range you want here. So I'll just tweak this a little bit and we'll click done. Now we have our color-coded zips. To make this more vibrant, we can go into Manage Map and Data at that zip code level, and we can go back to the General tab and we can take away that transparency. While I'm in this Manage Map and Data, I just want to also mention other types of zip code layers that are available in the program. So if you click on the zip codes tab at the top, there's a little pull down list. And the different options are ZCTA, which is census created boundaries that are updated every 10 years. And then we have USPS zip codes and we have USPS zip codes with fillers. The difference between those two is if you did not have fillers enabled, you're going to see empty areas across the US. Places that don't have a zip code or unpopulated areas, maybe the Everglades, deserts, heavily forested areas, they'll just be blank. And so we have fillers so that you can assign, so that every inch of the United States will be able to be color-coded or added to a territory. So I'm going to close out of that for now. And let's take a look around San Francisco. And so now that we have our color-coded information, we'll see our legend here, and that'll tell us what each of those individual zips mean as far as the median household income. We can also go back into our boundaries and change those ranges if we wanted to. With MapBusinessOnline, you can go into Manage Map and Data, and you can click on Labels to show an accumulation of data. We went over how to change the size and the color, but if you want to add information, then we click on Format Labels. And there's two types of labels you can do at the zip code level. One is a custom label, and that's essentially like a text bubble that pops up when you hover your mouse over a particular zip code. Or we have an auto label. And an auto label is a value that's going to appear right below the actual zip code number itself. And you can put up to 5 pieces of information there. So if I wanted to, I could leave it on population. And then let me go down to median household income again. And we'll click Change Labels. And now when we're zoomed in, we're going to start to see more of that information. And we keep drilling in, and then we can see the breakdown for the labels for each of those areas. I'm going to clear my color coding now, and we'll talk about territories. So with Map Business Online, you can create based on any of those major geographic layers. Zip code's probably the most often. And so to create a territory, we're going to just click on the zip and we get this new territory button. And so I'll just give it a name. I'll just call it San Francisco 1 and click create. Anytime you create a territory, this data window is going to pop up, and you can also access the data window from the very top. And so you can do things like change the color if you wanted to, and we'll go over exporting in a minute. Let's say that you want to do a larger area. You can hold down the shift button on the keyboard and just start clicking away. And then once you get to where you're comfortable with, you can click edit territory, and we can choose this time to add it to San Francisco 1, and that'll be filled in for us. If we missed anything or we want to do a much larger area, we have our search tools at the top, and so we have a circle, a polygon, a freeform, which is draw your own shape, and then a drive time polygon. And so if I use my freeform and just kind of zip it around here, once I come back to the beginning, it'll ask what I'm looking to collect within that shape, and I'm looking to collect zip codes, and I'm going to choose to add it to San Francisco 1. And we can close out of the data window and click delete to get rid of that shape, and we have our territory label listed here. If I want to show an accumulation of population data in that territory label, I now can go into manage map and data at the territory level. Maybe I'll change the background color to make it a little easier to see. And then we're going to click format labels, and we can put up to 5 pieces of information here. So if I just do population, and I'll click change labels. And so now anytime that I either remove zips or add zips to this territory, I'll have it listed here in my territory label. So let's say you want to export your information out. We can go into the data window, and you'll see a pull down list. And if we wanted to just export San Francisco 1, then we can just pull that up and we can click this export button and send it out as a CSV file. We can also click this choose columns button if we want to tidy up the information. If we want to remove some information that we don't care about, we can hold the shift button and press the up arrow, and then we can press this little left arrow, make that go away, and we can add things like demographic data. And if we press the up arrow, we can make it right next to the zips. So now we have a little more tidy population, a little bit more tidy table. If we have many territories in the map and we want to export all of the zip codes associated with all territories, we're going to do that by going to our zip5 code layer from that pull down list. Now, this is going to be all the boundary zip codes across the United States, but we don't have to export all the boundary zips. We can click this export button, and we can check a box to export only the records assigned to a territory, and we can also choose to segment the data by territory. So even though this is a national list of boundary zip codes, by checking these boxes, it's only going to export those with territories. Real briefly, we have the ability to add point-only zip codes to your export. A point zip code is just a building, and maybe it's a post office that receives a ton of mail, and a point zip code is going to be within a boundary zip code. Point zip codes don't have a ton of usefulness, but if you want a complete list of all the zip codes, boundary and point, all 43,000 or whatever number of zip codes, then you can check that box, and you can click next and export that back out as a CSV file. If you have any questions, please let us know. We're available through phone, chat, and email, and our website is mapbusinessonline.com. Thanks and have a great day.